It's super easy to access and use the new ChatGPT 4.0 image model from OpenAI, and we're just going to do this now by going to chatgpt.com, just your standard ChatGPT interface. Now it does help if you've got a plan, either a plus plan or higher, because on the free plan I believe you're restricted to 3 images a day. So I'm on the plus plan here, which is the $20 a month plan. So make sure you're in the 4.0 model, and then I'm just going to paste in a prompt here. You just type in whatever you like. So the process is the same as before to generate initial images, but instead of using DALL-E 3, it's now using its own proprietary sort of image gen technology. And this should have rolled out to everyone at this point. If not, then if you're still getting DALL-E 3 images by the time you see this video, then it should be any moment that you'll get access to the new format. Now, I'm going to let this one just generate in real time to show you a realistic expectation of what you can get and also how long it typically takes, but also to show you the difference between the generation method. You'll see now this is the new model and it's generating from the top down, whereas the DALL-E 3 images used to just appear in like a one shot. Now this does take longer, but the increase in quality and all the other benefits, in my opinion, are absolutely worth it. So, like I said, for this particular one, I'm just going to let it finish in real time, where you have a look at the image against what I've typed in the prompt, just to make sure it's doing its job correctly. But then for any additional image prompts, I will just cut the recording so you don't have to wait for each one. As you can see, it's generating the image. Excellent quality, excellent details, and prompt adherence is fantastic as well. This model excels at many things, including do multiple complicated objects in the scene with very specific looks, details, and it's also great at doing complicated text. And obviously the image quality is pretty fantastic. So now we've generated that image, we click on it to just have a little bit of a larger view, and we've got our ability at the top to sort of like and dislike as usual. We've got a select wand up here, which is if we wanted to do any local sort of in-painting style editing, but I'm cancelling that for now. And then below we can now make a change, or we can iterate on this and ask for changes. So I'm going to ask for the book to be changed from Whiskey for Whiskers to one called Feline Funnies that's orange and has a cartoon smiling cat design. So there's no need to actually do the in-painting, the select here. We can just do an overall comment and we can just click go. And I'm just going to quickly pause the video here while it generates, and I'll join you back in a second. Okay, so that's finished, and as you can see, it's given us exactly what we've asked for. It's changed the Whiskey for Whiskers book into a Feline Funnies book, and as I specified, it's orange and has a cartoon smiling cat design. So let's say if we want to give him a friend, let's say we want to, let's put someone else in the scene, or another animal in the scene more specifically. So I'll just paste in here, extend image to the right, and add a white Westie dog wearing a teal cravat, smoking a bubble pipe, and reading a magazine called Walkies 2025, featuring various dog images. I'm just going to click OK. And while this starts to generate, I'll just quickly explain about the aspect ratios available in this. They're the same as before. So you've got square, which is 1:1, which is generated as default on this particular time. You've got 3:2 or 2:3 portrait and landscape. And so by asking it to extend it to the right, it's going to automatically make the image the horizontal aspect ratio. But when you're prompting at the start for your first image, you can just use the words create tall image, or create wide image, or create square image as a natural language way of selecting your aspect ratio. So while this image is just finishing generating here, it's worth noting that because I haven't specified anything about an additional chair or any more details about the dog, it's just put it into a similar environment that makes sense. So it's put it into a very similar leather chair next to it. But obviously if you wanted to be more specific and put it or make that into a big sofa, or put him on a stool, or whatever, then that's entirely up to you. But if you don't give the specific info, it's just going to use the context of the original image and generate something that makes sense, which is this. So let's have a look at the results. Yeah, look, the dog's fantastic. The bubble coming out of its pipe. Walkies 2025 book there. Looking really great. Now, just one last thing I want to show you before I sort of say that that's it for ChatGPT. the ChatGPT lesson, is you can change styles very easily within this as well. So you can't just add details, take details away. Like at the bottom, I'm just going to change the prompt to as a miniature diorama on a coffee table. And I'm going to click go. And we're going to see that hopefully we're going to get a totally different output from this image, but still retaining all of the main features that were present in the image itself. Okay, so that's finished, and let's have a look at what we've got. Well, it has created a diorama of the scene on a coffee table, but what it's actually done, because I've not been clear enough, is it's built a little coffee table into the diorama itself, whereas I wanted the diorama to be sitting on a coffee table. So what I did for this was I then prompted it again with something a little bit different. So I then re-prompted from the previous image as create a miniature model diorama sitting on a polished coffee table with an out of focus face of an excited woman in the background. And this is what I got, which is great, a lot more I had in mind. It's quite funny actually. But you notice how it's kept the little table in, even though when I prompted this, I didn't do it in the main screen here. I went back to this original and typed it in here. So it has got some like positive prompt, I wouldn't say prompt bleeding because that makes it sound like a problem, but it's taken within the same chat. It's definitely picking things from other image generations if it thinks it's going to make something look better or make it work. So then I thought, well, let's just try something else. So I went back to the original image again and typed turn into a children's crayon drawing, and this is what we've got here. And again, interestingly in this, we've got this, which looks fantastic, but then we've got in the background, you've got that smiling woman's face again that from the previous image that has been kind of added in there because it must think it's relevant and it would work well. But actually, again, I prompted that from this version of the image. So I'm guessing at this point, if you didn't want any kind of prompt or idea bleeding between images, you're probably best off to create the variant in a brand new chat and just using the image that has been previously created. So take this image and save it on your desktop or whatever, create a new chat and drag it into there and then make the adjustment. So that was how to use the functionality within ChatGPT. So let's jump over to Sora and see how it works in there. Now you can either access Sora from the main menu here in ChatGPT on the top left, or you can just go to Sora.com. So we'll click on that and it's going to take us to the main page. Now if you're accessing Sora.com separately, you may need to log in with your OpenAI ChatGPT account. But once you've done that, you're ready to go. So on the main page, we'll have a mixture of images and videos here. Most recently, of course, been created with the new image model and animated via Sora, or at least some images, some of these might be just generated completely within Sora. But you can see the kind of variety we've got here. And what I was talking about in the previous section about flexibility, potential flexibility of like trademarks, IPs and things like that, and it's a bit hit and miss. We can already see on here we've got Coca-Cola logo, no problem. You know, if I scan down, you're bound to see other kind of IP infringements on here. Rick and Morty, we've got going on there. You know, we've got Doctor House next to Doctor Strange here on the left, which is a fantastic image. But I mean, the quality is amazing. So I don't know how long that's going to go on for, whether they're going to do what they did with DALL-E 3, which was, it was more open like this at the start, and then they quickly restricted it, I think in fear of potential lawsuits, so we'll see. But regardless of that, generating in Sora is simple with these images. You just come down to the bottom here, and you've got image and video option. Obviously video is Sora, so we're going to concentrate on image. And in this format, you can choose your aspect ratio up front. Then you can choose how many variants you have at a time, so how many images you want to generate at a time, 1, 2 or 4, and it just makes it a bit slower. So this is the benefit of using Sora. You do have a few more options here than using it via ChatGPT. And then we've got a preset button where you can choose some different kind of presets there to guide the overall aesthetic of your generation. So I'm just going to copy and paste one that I've made previously. I haven't actually tested this particular problem yet, so I'll be interested to see how it comes out. Closer photo of a low poly 3D cardboard model of an apple in a wooden bowl full of real apples. So I'm trying to do like a mixed thing here of getting like different textures and things. So once you've done that, you click the generate button there, and it's added to your queue, which is in the top right hand side here of the screen. You'll see this little icon spinning around, activity. So that's one job in the queue, and the icon will spin round and it will spit up a little window to say when it's finished generating. So I'll just pause it for the moment so you don't have to wait with me, and I'll rejoin in a second. Okay, so here we've got a pop-up saying that the images are ready. Let's click on that and let's see what we have here. So excellent, we've got our low poly 3D cardboard apple in a wooden bowl full of real apples. Now if I was to make some edits to this, you could either come down and click remix here, which will then allow you to edit the prompt for one of these, or you can just go back and retype the prompt from scratch. So let's just go to this and say okay, it's kind of what I had in mind, but I want to make the apple, the 3D apple, at least look a little bit like the others. So I'm just going to say paint the 3D apple red. Okay, and I just want one variant of this. I'm just going to click remix, and again we'll wait for the generation. Oh, here, this is a message I haven't seen before. Unable to generate. So you saw that real time. Service at capacity. Now, my previous generation was taking a long time with Sora. This off the recording took about 15 minutes to generate this image, and it was suspiciously slow. So yeah, that just shows you at the moment the capacity isn't. So there you go. Service at capacity. Try again later. So the demand outweighs the capacity for this use at the moment. Now that's on Sora. It seems to be a bit more controlled on the ChatGPT side, and there are advantages and disadvantages of using both. So fortunately I can't actually continue to show you what my tweak would have looked like there, but you get the idea. Hopefully this will stabilize in a few days. It is a brand new service, so it's going to be extremely popular. And yeah, so outside of that, you've just got very basic options on the left hand side that if you've used Sora before, you'd be familiar with these. You've got place your media, your uploaded media, your new folders. You can create new folders to organize all your images, and that's basically it. You can go into any image that you've generated or an image that someone else has generated. When you've converted it to a video with Sora, as this is here, you've then got some additional options at the bottom to sort of basic editing functions and looping of the footage. But of course you don't have to go anywhere near Sora if you don't want to. You can just use the Sora website here to generate images with the new OpenAI Imagen. Well, I hope you found that video useful and gets you started in using this fantastic new model. And any likes or comments would be gratefully received. And yeah, I hope you got value, and I will see you in the next video.